And here we go again. This is Jay Remy here, also known as the Lone Observer, with the 7th episode of Spiritual Empowerment Personal Sovereignty. A podcast series is here to help you empower you and help you rediscover your personal sovereignty, which is a birthright that has been hidden from you by the powers that shouldn't be, the people that want to control you in this world, your so-called dear leaders, in other words. The purpose of this podcast is to inspire you to go out and make a difference in the world and in your life as well. My website is the inconvenience of awareness.wordpress.com, and I also have a YouTube page called the Lone Observer. But these things are in the link, so you don't have to remember the names of the website and so forth. Like I said, my blog and my YouTube page are always going to be in the link of each in the description of each episode. Anyways, all right. And by the way, also this podcast is more than just that. It's also I'm gonna go into stuff, and I'm probably just gonna talk about certain stuff concerning the situation on this planet right now, and my thoughts and attitudes. Because right now, I've been having these days where I wake up and I just do not want to be here. I feel as if I just don't feel right. I've just been having these emotions lately where I am so want to just detach myself from this reality and escape from it. I've been having a lot of dreams lately because usually when I start feeling like this, I actually tend to have a lot of dreams, especially when I try to meditate more, because I've been usually when I meditate, you gotta understand something about when I meditate. When I meditate, I'm not trying to I'm just trying to just quiet my mind, because a lot of people need to understand that meditation isn't about getting rid of your thoughts. It's about observing the inherent natural quietness in your mind that's already present within the reality and within yourself. You're going to, of course, have thoughts come through your head. Don't worry about those thoughts. And I notice that when I do that more and more, because I just kind of do it randomly when I'm walking around for about a few minutes or something like that when I walk around. And I notice I get more dreams. I dream more. I actually am more spacey. I go in these. I guess that's because of the fact that lately I just been feeling so detached lately, and I feel like, saying to myself, man, why I'm doing this? I just feel so. It just feels so odd, and I don't know. But enough about that. I don't want to keep ranting about that. I might do a video later on YouTube about my feelings about my feelings of the whole thing. Anyways, let's get to today's topic. All right, it's about it's about the drama and insanity of this reality, not getting caught up in it, because you gotta understand that when we're dealing with this reality, this matrix-like illusion, we cannot get caught up in the drama of what's going on around us. There's one thing to deal with all the negative in the reality, and it's another to get so absorbed and obsessed with it to the point where you let it bring you down, you let it drain you, and so forth. Because I keep talking about how there is entities out there who feed off and harvest our energy by us getting worn down by what we see around us. Because and like I said, one of the things you have to do is not get caught up in the drama. And speaking of drama, you know that if you are paying attention to what's going on in the world, that the world economy is on a collapse, and most people do not notice this, especially those who are asleep to what's going on and live in a bubble. They figure, hey, it's not happening out my door. I'm making all this money. I'm doing this and that. Look at me. I got a stable job. I don't see anything going on, because of the fact that these people live in a bubble. And then if you see what's going on around the world, it's pretty bad right now. It is pretty bad. And it's gonna come to your house. It's gonna come to a neighborhood near you soon enough. It's only a matter of time. This control system right now is on borrowed time, because they're doing everything in their power to keep people distracted. Take a look at the mainstream media. And take a look around you in the mainstream media, and take a look at the news headlines and the stories that they're posting. The things that they're posting is just ridiculous. It's just a bunch of drama and nonsense. And I feel that this is the reason why a lot of people think there's nothing going on, because if they think if this is what the mainstream media is reporting, then there's nothing going on, right? No. Wrong. Because of the fact that a lot of people don't want to live outside the bubble. A lot of people are entranced in that bubble. And it's not like it's a matter of telling people that, hey, you need to get out of this bubble. You need to start looking outside of what you see on the idiot box called the TV. It's more than that, because of the fact that a lot of people don't care. A lot of people are so unconcerned about it, not understanding that if you don't get your ass in gear, we're gonna be all be in big trouble. Most people don't care. You try to tell people this and they go, whatever. They just dismiss you. Because people are so mind controlled and entranced in this control system, this matrix. And it's extremely frustrating. See, this is one of the main reasons why I've been upset. I've been having I've been feeling pretty down over the last few days as well. Because of the fact that it just reminds me why I'm so lonely in this reality. Because of the fact that most people just really bother me and annoy me. It's to the point where I don't even want to go outside because I don't want to look at anyone. Look at all these people who are what I consider living dead, which is what I call the spiritually dead. Because they're like, because when you're spiritually dead and inside, you're like a zombie. It sounds harsh, but I'm just being objectively honest here about what's going on. And I keep saying to myself, how long is this going to keep going? Because I'm going to get into a topic about concerning hopium and false hype in magical mass awakenings. I'm going to get that in a quick sec. But I just want to finish up on this topic of how a lot of things are getting more brazen in this reality because like I said, the controllers are running out of options. Now, this is the good news here, people. It's not all doom and gloom because the controllers, the ones who run this planet, are doing all these crazy things. They're trying to start World War III by trying to provoke the Russians and so forth. You pay attention to what's going on. And you see that they're running out of options, along with the fact that the climate is out of control right now. If you take a look at the fact that a lot of the if you take a look at the reports, that the fact that the planet has been warming up like crazy. I mean, the heat wave that's going on in India, 124 degrees record heat in India. Whoa! Talk about hell on earth, literally. I would hate to live there. I mean, I don't like hot places to begin with. I don't like tropical places. I don't like warm places. I don't like warm weather. I don't like heat. I mean, I'm not a big fan of cold weather either, but you know what? I need to live in somewhere in between. If I had my way, I would live in a coastal city, but that's not an option no more because due to the rising sea levels, most coastal cities are going to be flooded. City of Miami right now, since due to sea level rise, the city of Miami right now, this is actually literally pumping out water to keep the water, and they're pumping out water. It's literally pumping sewage into the goddamn ocean. It's just, oh my goodness. Go look that up, by the way, if you don't believe me. Because Miami is actually in danger of actually getting flooded too. All these other coastal places. Because all this sea level rise and all this crazy nonsense going on. And how climate engineering is just accelerating it. It's not just climate engineering. It's the fact that it's also humanity's unsustainable lifestyle and practices. But I'm not going to get into all that climate engineering stuff and the fact that humanity is sabotaging this planet to the point where it's dying. This planet is dying. Trees are dying. All these things are dying because not only because of the practices, humanity's practices, unsustainable practices to try to keep this this industrial insanity going. It's not just that. It's the fact that there is various different technology out there that's hidden that we can use as sustainable, but that's been occulted from us, hidden from us. I mean, we can talk about free energy all day and all that, and all these other things, and all these other technologies that we can use that's not dependent on oil or fossil fuels in general. But that's a whole nother story. I don't want to get into that because that's a huge another topic. But what I'm trying to point out is that this control, things are getting crazy on this planet. It's not just here, but it's all over the place. Things are getting crazy. And in times like this, one of the things you need to have is inner peace, like I have. No matter what happens, you gotta understand that you're an infinity being, and that life here is not all there is. There is more to life in this multi-dimensional universe. Whatever happens here happens, and this is going to be due And if something really, really bad happens where we all get messed up, it's going to be because of humanity's collective failure to wake up because they want to live in their bubble for so long. But at the same time, we need to make sure we're not so attached to what is going on. All we need to do is just stay calm and do what we do. And now let's talk about this whole hopium thing. Because this whole hopium thing. The fact that there's all this nonsense in the alternative media about I've seen it about how people are saying that there was this nonsense in the alternative media. I think I talked about it in one of my videos. No, it wasn't on the podcast. It was on my video on YouTube where I talked about how they actually talk about how there's completely out somehow we're gonna have all these changes. They're gonna happen in a few months where everything's gonna be reset, everything's gonna be everything's gonna be all great again. Well, that never happened. And then there was even an article that was posted about how there was a mass earthquake that happened in Yosemite, but it never happened. What was that all about? It was like either this, I don't know what was that? I mean, did that come from another time? Did that come from another timeline or something? I don't know. But it's just bad. It's just bad false reporting. It's just what is going on right now. This control system is just insane right now. I mean, you got a lot of false news going on. You got all this hopium, people thinking that people are going to magically awake. There's going to be some magical events that are going to happen where there's going to be a mass awakening. Everyone's going to suddenly wake up from their mind programming and mind control as if nothing happened. And it's just people still believe this. A lot of people don't understand that all these things are going to happen slowly. All these changes that are going on are going to happen slowly. Year after year after year after year, I keep hearing about how there's going to be something that's going to somehow wake up everyone, including all the people who are asleep and completely ignorant and willingly ignorant, and the ones who defend the establishment in the control system. You're going to tell me they're going to wake up too? All these people are going to massively wake up. That there's going to be this magical awakening because of energy coming in. I don't believe that at all. It's all hopium. People, we need to stop thinking about hopium and start actually going out there and making a difference and doing it. Stop expecting something else to be the hope. You are the hope. You, each and everyone who's listening to this podcast, you are the hope. You're the hope. You go out there, do something. You say, what should I do? How about you find out? How about you start thinking? Start asking yourself. Do something. It doesn't matter how small it is. You can write articles, start a blog, do YouTube like I'm doing. Well, no one's giving me no love on YouTube right now, but hey, I'm fresh to this. I'm a brand new baby. I'm a newborn baby when it comes to this. So what do you expect? You gotta just do. You just gotta be patient. And I gotta market myself a little bit, but I've been a little lazy with that because I'm not a marketing type of guy. But like I said, you are the hope. Stop expecting someone else to come and save your ass because you are the one that can save yourself. And everybody has a collective have to realize that. Stepping into your own power is understanding that you are the hope. I understand that if things get tough around, gets tough, and you feel like no matter what you do, it's pointless. I get those feelings all the time. I've been feeling like that for the last few days. I've been like what I'm doing is pointless and silly. Quite silly. That's what I literally feel like. But I keep pressing forward because I said to myself, I'm going to keep doing it anyway. Because I don't want any what ifs. And you never know what's going to happen in the future. You don't know. I don't know what is this going to turn into in the future. That's what I always say to myself. No matter what happens, I'm going to keep pressing forward as long as it's possible to keep doing it. As long as I have the ability to do it, I'm going to keep doing it. It's that simple. So stop getting high on hopium. You start understanding that you are the hopium. And that doesn't sound right, doesn't it? I should be laughing, but this is really not. But really, stop buying into these things on these websites telling you that this is going to happen, that's going to happen, and that all these things are going to be, or we're going to do everything for you, or we're going to fix humanity. And also something else you have to understand, that even if an external force out there somehow fixes humanity, which I don't believe is going to happen, and if it does happen, expect it to be a false agenda hidden underneath that, then what about humanity's condition? Most of the humanity is mind controlled, traumatized, beaten down, broken down. I mean, at the end of the day, humanity only has to change itself from within if they want permanent, true, lasting change on this planet. That's what I'm trying to say here. Because you can change the scenarios externally all you want. Nothing's going to change from within. And a lot of people don't want to go within and confront their own darkness, their own shadow. They're so afraid to do it. They're so scared to see the dark aspects of themselves, all the negative programming, all those things. They don't want to try to heal those. If you don't heal those, not only nothing's going to actually change externally in the long term, you're going to be the dark forces out there are going to manipulate that. The controllers are going to manipulate that and use that against you. You need to actually get as many weaknesses as possible out of your system. You cannot, like I said, as above, so below, one of the universal laws, the universal law of correspondence. You cannot, as long as you are within having all these issues, you're not going to really change anything on the outside. The things that we get in this reality outside of our cause and effect, on our right and wrong actions based on cause and effect, all these things in each reality that we're getting is based on what is a reflection of who we are within ourselves as a collective. Because like I said, what use is external change if we refuse to change on the inside? That's why I'm more focused on changing on the inside than changing externally. Because external change doesn't mean nothing is not going to happen as long as we don't go out and change ourselves. That's one of the you wonder why this world is so resistant. This control system is so resistant to actually people implementing new great ideas that is going to lead us to freedom. You wonder why? Because of the fact that this is a reflection of all of us on a collective level, all the negative things within ourselves on a collective level. That's the reason why that's why free energy is not public. That's the reason why we don't have all these technologies that will actually essentially make us abundant overnight. Because there is a lot of these technologies out there that will actually make us all abundant without having to worry about money or anything. That's actually within these block op programs, these government programs. And we don't have it because guess what? Because of the fact that the system is set up in the way where others are enslaving others. Because of the fact that they have a lot of stuff within themselves that will cause them to go out there and help enslave other people. Because like I said, ultimately at the end of the day, it's the order followers who are responsible. Most responsible, Because all the bad stuff within themselves that will make them want to actually go out and try to control other people. Along with their toxic mindsets. So to all those people out there, expect history to repeat itself in this aspect of change never being everlasting until we start to change within ourselves. And another thing, remember, when I say we need to detach ourselves from this reality, we have to understand one thing, that we cannot, that you got to know that we cannot buy into this trap of ignoring the negative. Because it's something that's very popular with New Agers and other individuals out there. You think that ignoring the negative is going to change reality? Are you kidding me? You cannot do that. It doesn't work. History shows that. Many people historically thought that, hey, maybe the Nazis will go away if I ignore them. Maybe these other tyrants will go away if I ignore them. Or maybe this regime will go away if I ignore it. And guess what happens? Things will get worse and worse and worse and worse and worse until you acknowledge the negative and confront it. Tyranny didn't ever disappear because of the fact people decided to ignore it and all the other negative things. This goes back to the fact that a lot of people think they can get away with ignoring the negatives within themselves. And look at how it eats people up from the inside. See, this is the reason why people are driven to insanity, driven to depression, and actually medicating themselves to death with all these pharmaceutical drugs. A lot of people actually want to medicate themselves. They want to take drugs. They want to just get lost in alcohol and drugs because they don't want to confront the negative in themselves. They think they can ignore the negative. And look what it leads to. Look what it leads to. To all the people out there who think you can ignore the negative. You cannot ignore the negative. Taking back your power involves you confronting the negative and transmuting it. Positively transmuting the negative. That's what it's about. So remember, when I say to actually detach yourself, I'm saying don't get caught up in the emotions of what's going on. Say to yourself that, yeah, we understand that this is a thing, but at the same time, we can't say, oh, well, I have to get all super emotional about it and all this. I mean, you got to try to know that there's a fine line between detaching yourself from something and then completely ignoring it. What I mean by detaching yourself is not avoiding it, but just know that the big picture is that I'm doing what I'm doing, and as long as I'm doing it, that's what all counts. Because like I said, there's a lot of stuff that goes on every day, and there's certain things that you hear about, you're thinking, well, ask yourself, is there something you can actually do about that particular situation? Or better yet, you actually want to go out there and actually get to the roots of it. And that's the human condition. Now, that's something to think about. And that goes into the fact that we need to be in the world, but not of it. You be making a difference. When we're making a difference in the world, it can't be of the world. Because being of the world will actually keep you burnt. Will just burn you out, drain you, and you're going to stay trapped in this reality on the 5 sense level. We can't be so absorbed into this reality around us. We have to actually have some distance from it and realize that, yes, this is kind of like, this reality is kind of like it's pretty much like an illusion. And we can't be so caught up in it to the point where we think this is all there is. We have to understand that when we're making a difference in the world, we cannot be so caught up in the drama to the point where we're burning ourselves out. We have to remember those things. And this leads me to another thing, the insanity of humanity. It's because we're not going to just talk about the drama. We're going to talk about the insanity as well, and how insane people are overall, because of the fact that insanity is just born out of their emotional traumas, the things that are fed to them by their government, and religion, and it's just in the fact that people buy into false dialects. They think that I don't like this extreme, so I'm going to put my energy and faith in that other extreme. It's kind of like how back in pre-Nazi Germany, people have to literally choose between communism and fascism, the false dialect between the two. Because a lot of people actually everybody believes that they don't have any power and then they need to give their power away to some authority, some external authority. Now I understand that they have the ability to make changes collectively. But people don't know that. People have been fooled into believing that they need masters and rulers for various different reasons I'm not going to get into here. And I know all the objections to why, and a lot of people, all the justifications. I get those things, but you know what? That's not what this is about right now. But a lot of people keep falling into false dialects. What I mean by false dialects is people choosing between one group or an idea or another. It's like the false dialect. Or dialects. You know, want some examples of false dialects? Liberal, conservative, Christian, atheist, or something like that. Those are the examples of false dialects. Now understand there's more to reality than just choosing between two things. It's like those are common false dialects. There's many other false dialects out there. It really depends on where you live too, because there's many different false dialects out there. And the insanity of humanity involves the fact that a lot of people somehow think that if we choose the other dialect, then things are going to change because of the fact that they perceive that it's not as bad as that other dialect. Let me tell you something about all these dialects out there. I'm going to let you in on something. All these dialects are forms of enslavement. I don't care what anyone says. A lot of you can object all you want, because if you object, then you must be one of these slaves that love it. Then you're a lost cause. I don't want nothing to do with you. And it's just more proof of the legacy of mind control. And like I said, that's what it comes down to. In fact, people are mentally conditioned at birth, especially through the so-called education system, to embrace these false dialects, to actually give away their power to other people, trained to believe that other people have control over them in their lives. You know, hiding their natural rights and their natural desire to just be and do whatever they want as long as they're not harming another individual, and take in their sovereign power, their God-given birthright of sovereignty. You being the actually arbiter of your own personal life, no one else. and be able to actually express that in a free will zone. Your natural rights through the natural laws of the universe and so forth. This is one of the things. It's just very frustrating for me to have to put up with this, and it's just to the point where I literally refuse to talk to people about these things. I don't. It's just when I start hearing this from someone, I just be quiet, because I'm thinking, it really depends on my mood, though. Sometimes I might say something or whatever. It really depends on my mood. But most of the time, I'll just go, ugh. I get all frustrated, and I'm thinking, you trying to tell me humanity is going to wake up? Yet most people think like this? There's no way in hell we're going to see a mass awakening from like this. The only way I can see a mass awakening happening is if somehow a lot of the control mechanisms, especially involved with mind control, somehow shuts down. Or whatever. I don't know. I'm not going to even get into... And that itself is all speculation and theory. I'm not going to get into that because it's all conjecture, all speculation, all theory, like I said. What I think. Like I said, I doubt humanity is even ready. Because if you go outside and see what people are really like, then you'll know what I'm talking about. Because I don't live in a bubble like other people. Unfortunately, I live in an area where I'm surrounded by people who are spiritually asleep and spiritually dead and don't care. Just only care about themselves. We got a bunch of self-absorbed people who only care about themselves, care about just living their lives and doing whatever. Making their money, going home. That's all they care about. And I just have a hard time speaking to people because it's just hard to speak to people who are so on a completely different vibrational level or vibe. It's very hard to speak to these people. And also, I honestly, if you want to ask me, I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't see anything happening, really significant happening in my lifetime here. I don't think, quite honestly, I think it's gonna really be business as usual for the most part with some changes. Though I don't know. I could be wrong, and I hope I'm wrong. That I don't really see anything good that's going to happen in the future that's going to be in benefit of humanity. And all these changes that are going on, like I said, it's going to happen slowly. It's not going to be all as dramatic as a lot of people are making it out to be. It's just happening ever so slowly. A lot of people have no clue what's going on, especially with the climate and what's going on. Oh my goodness, that's a scary disaster. But that's another story. But that's just my honest attitude. And honestly, I'm not saying I'm right, and I hope I'm wrong. That's all to say. I hope I am wrong. But because if seeing how humanity is right now, like I said, if you actually go out in the world, you observe people and so forth, and you actually are taking a look at certain current events and what people's attitudes are and how they think. You're saying this is an awakening? I'm thinking, yeah, sure. Yeah, there's some, like I said, more people are coming online to what's going on. True. There is people coming on, and there's people awakening. True. But I think people blow it out of proportion. That's the problem. And a lot of people are half awake, by the way. Which means is they are aware of some of the external things that are going on, but they fail to see what's going on a spiritual level. Because a lot of them, unfortunately, are materialist, and they think that's, it's just the banksters or whatever. Or this external group or whatever. Now understanding that it's very complicated. It's very complicated. I keep saying that we can point the finger at whoever all we want, but at the end of the day, it's all our fault. Because as a collective, we allowed it to get this bad, and as a collective, it's our thoughts, our attitudes, and our beliefs that actually have manifested this reality and manifested this control system. Yes, there is manipulation that has happened, but those that manipulate it are the manipulators, the external forces out there. They only have exploited how we think and our attitudes. And it also goes to what has been done to human DNA, and that's based on an extremely good theory. And I don't want to get into that because of the fact that I don't know if how 100% true that is, but it's extreme. That it seems like it makes a lot of sense if you look into people's work, like Lloyd Pye. Lloyd Pye is his name, and so forth, and about the human intervention theory and all that, and the fact that our human DNA has a lot of flaws in it, and so forth. I always said to myself that humanity always seems really, the human body seems very imperfect. I'm thinking this is no way in hell the prime creator's creation, at least as we know it. Now I'm talking about our DNA. because it's been. But I'm not going to get into that. That's a whole nother story. And you got to look that stuff out for your own, because I'm no researcher and I'm not one to talk about that right now. And one thing I have a bigger issue with as well is the fact that a lot of alternative media outlets out there, not all of them, don't get the wrong idea, not all of them. A lot of alternative media outlets out there are not properly preparing people mentally and spiritually to what is going to happen. All these things they're not properly preparing them. They're not giving these people, they're not empowering people and telling people that they need to take back their own power and help actually start making changes. A lot of the alternative media outlets, especially the big ones, the big ones, particularly the big ones, they're not doing nothing to actually help prepare humanity, prepare the people who view their website. These people who get thousands and thousands, if not millions, of views on their website. They're not helping them to prepare themselves for what's going to happen. I mean, we can talk about physical preparedness all you want, but we need to be mentally and spiritually prepared to what's to come. People, because of the fact that a lot of the preparedness is coming from a level of physical bodily survival. Like, oh, you need to prep up. We can talk about prepping food and items and stuff all you want, but at the end of the day, what counts as most is actually being spiritually and mentally prepared to what's to come. And in fact, the alternative media just seems like it's not doing that. It's failing to do that. It's just keeping people more so entranced in the circus of all the drama that's going on instead. Trying to tell you that this is happening, that's happening, this is happening. And it's perpetuating all this fear. The mainstream media, not the mainstream media, because they're trying to keep the fact that the world economy is collapsing as quiet as possible, but you're having a hard time doing that alone. But like I said, that they're just perpetuating this whole, oh no, there's a collapse coming, you need to be ready, you need to be ready, you need to be ready, all these things are going to happen. It's just all this fear of a collapse. People need to stop fearing it. This has to happen, because this control system for way too long has been going on. This system needs to collapse. Instead, most people are preparing to want to rebuild the control system and go back to a more primitive version of it. Since that's all they know. All they know is their own enslavement. They think that the only solution to the problem is somehow a limited constitutional government. Well, I got news for you. That's not going to last, and that's going to take us right back to where we are now. Because any form of government is slavery and control. I'm sorry, but the government was never meant to protect the people. It was always meant to enslave people. But until people get that in their heads, they don't expect anything to change. In the meantime, people need to understand that we need to start raising our consciousness. Start understanding that we need to base our life around universal or natural law. Living our life in understanding that our right and wrong actions is gonna reflect back at us and the collective. We need to raise our consciousness. Stop trying to implement control systems based on violence, because that's what they are. They use violence to solve everything. I understand right now that humanity, is not even ready for all these things. But at the same time, the solution is to try to ease into a system that's not based in control. That's all I'm trying to say. Because realistically, people are not ready to go back to the 0 point of free will, which is called anarchy. And you gotta understand that anarchy does not mean chaos. It means no rulers, no masters. Anarchy has nothing to do with chaos. Chaos is the result of people living unconsciously, living outside their inner divine connection, and being cut off from it by this environment around us. You can reestablish yourself into that, but it's ultimately forgetting who you are and becoming so identified with the ego body personality. That's where chaos comes from. People living and rebelling with universal law and trying to live selfishly by their own whims. That's where chaos comes from. I understand that humanity is not ready for that and collectively ready for these things, but that doesn't mean we can't work towards it. Because I don't believe in any institutional authority, which is an institution of violence or control. Because I don't want to control me. I don't want to control another individual. I don't want others to control other individuals. I don't want to be controlled. And I don't believe in controlling other people. That's my attitude. I don't care what anyone says or thinks. If they have a problem with it, who cares about you? That's my attitude. I just want to be left alone. I don't want some institution to bother me and try to make me conform to their BS. I don't care about that. Anyways, like I said, and I also I think another problem here is that some of the alternate media outlets out there, I can't say what for sure, and I really believe that many of them are controlled opposition or have been compromised. That's another reason why a lot of people start doing this, because of the fact either being compromised or they get addicted to ad revenue, money, and clickbait. You get addicted to that. So they don't want to talk about things like this because they're unpopular. Topics like this are unpopular. That's why you don't see many people talking about it, because it's unpopular. Or along the fact that a lot of people don't have the courage to go out and speak about these things. That's another issue. Also, and when it comes to detaching yourself from the drama and insanity of what's going on around you, you may have to cut yourself back from social media and start going out into nature if you can find it. Or if you can't go out into the wilderness or whatever, go out to a place where there's a lot of trees and a lot of peace and quiet. If you live in a concrete jungle, there's many places where you can go where you can probably find trees or whatever, depending on how how urban the place you live is in. For example, there's places where there's pretty much practically no trees, due to all the urban sprawl that's going on in the overpopulation of various different cities. I get the fact, yeah. I mean, that's right. A lot of these cities have become so overpopulated. A lot of the major cities. Yeah, the globe itself is not overpopulated, but let me tell you something. There's many different regions out there that are overpopulated, though. And the biggest problem with this is the fact that we have a certain way of life, a certain way of doing things that is not good for this planet with the population that we have. The solution to that is by changing those practices, so we can help sustain this planet with the population we have. And there's so many people on this planet right now, and because of that, it's going to be much harder to wake people up. That's the biggest problem. It's going to be much harder to wake people up. That's because of the fact that there's many people out there who are buying into these control-based programmings that are based in religious and political ideologies. And I'm just being honest about it, because a lot of people hate when you say that the world is too populated. It's true. My attitude is there's not much you can really do about that, except for the fact that you shouldn't be having children unless you have a damn good reason to have children in this day and age. Because a lot of people just have children just because they think, oh, well, I have to, or because my parents want grandchildren, or because of pressure. No. Have children if you really feel really have a reason for it. Because in this day and age, how are you gonna bring a soul into this planet? How are you gonna bring a soul into this planet with the way things are right now? Especially if you don't plan on homeschooling your children, because you don't want to put them through that indoctrination nonsense. That's gonna trap them in the left brain imbalance. You don't want to do that either. But anyways, like I said, the whole child thing, I mean, ultimately, it's your free will, but at the same time, be reasonable. I mean, if you're going to have a child, you need to have a damn good reason. In this day and age. It's not like the old days where you had children because you need to help out, you need help on the farm or whatever. And you need a family to help sustain yourself and anyone else around you. It's not like the old days. Especially in this day and age of where there's high divorce rates where I live and all that, and easily fragmented relationships and all that. I mean, but like I said, I think I got off topic because I was talking about how alternative media really is doing a poor job of preparing humanity for what's to come, particularly certain outlets. Not all of them, but many certain ones out there. And detaching yourself from the drama as well. We need to do that as well. You need to stop reading every little headline that comes through your news feed or whatever, and start being more yourself, more being outside, more away from all this insanity. And to all the people out there who are doing this work, know this, and don't fall into this trap that I nearly fell into. That you only can do so much. What you're doing right now, if you're doing something, you're doing enough. Be happy. because of the fact you're doing what you're doing enough. So I don't think that you need to actually do this and do that and juggle all these things. Do as much as you can without burning yourself out and draining yourself. You don't think that you have the whole world on your shoulders. But you know what? This is a reflection of the fact that there's not enough people out there doing this, being hands-on. There's many people out there who talk about what's going on. They talk about what's going on to their friends on social media or whatever. They're like-minded friends on social media, but they actually don't go out there and they don't do this. You don't start a web page, a YouTube page or a blog talk. You don't do none of this and start talking about this. And start sharing this with some people at a certain level. And remember, to all the people out there who have chose to come here based on your free will, it's humanity. See it as, this is going to sound messed up, but this is how I personally feel. I feel like it's a privilege for humanity to have someone like me. And this sounds so arrogant and so egotistical, but that's not it, because I don't think like that. I have a very humble view of myself. I'm not even afraid of insulting myself. I mean, the other day I was talking about how much of an idiot I was from time to time when I made bad decisions in my life, and how I was stupid, this and that. I was even cursing myself out over some of the bad things I did in my life. I'm thinking, what was I thinking? I was saying to myself how I don't deserve forgiveness for what I did or I can't forgive myself for certain things I did in my life. I don't have that type. I don't have a high view of myself. I have a humble view of myself, a level-headed view of myself. I don't have a negative view of myself, even though I put myself down. I'm not doing it to actually make myself feel bad, but to actually be bluntly honest. Because I look in the mirror, I'm saying to myself, wow, you were a piece of trash for doing that certain action in the past. You were a piece of trash. I'm thinking, yeah, I was. Tell me about it. But like I said, I see myself as a privileged. Humanity needs to see, to all the ingrates out there who should reject what we do, who laugh, mock, and realize, you don't see us as a privilege for us, because of the fact that I say a privilege because of the fact us free will beings don't have to be here. But we come here out of cosmic love. That's the thing. We do it out of love. That's why we do this. We do it out of love. That's what I mean by privilege. Sounds conditional, actually, so it's kind of contradicting that I said love. But that's how I personally feel. You can say I'm wrong all you want, but I don't care if you think I'm wrong or right. I don't care if you think I'm wrong or right about that. It does not matter. It's just how I feel. But this is based on how I've been feeling lately when it comes to do this work. Remember, you're doing the best you are doing. I feel I'm doing the best that I'm already doing. Know that to all the people out there who are doing something, you are doing your best. Don't feel like you have to have the whole world on your shoulders, because that's not necessary. Anyways, this is the end of the podcast, and this is my longest episode yet. I think this is actually one of my better ones, too. I feel really satisfied with what I've done today, and that's going to be it for today. Let's see, the next episode's going to be about... Man, I keep forgetting where my notes are. The next episode is probably going to be about, maybe, I think I might talk about detaching, weaning yourself from the matrix of control. Or more so, withdrawing from the system as much as you can. Or the next episode may be about doing what's right for you in your spiritual path. Because of the fact that we need to understand that we can't always depend on external answers to what we need to be doing. You need to do what you need to do. So I might talk about those two topics. I don't know which one. But for now, this is it. This is Jay Remy, aka the Lone Observer, and that'll be it for today. And please, in the meantime, before I make any other podcasts, if you want more stuff from me, you can go to my WordPress blog, read it, or you can go to my YouTube page and listen to my videos there. I always post all my podcast episodes on that website too, but I actually have a bunch of stuff there that you need to watch. So go there in the meantime. But for now, this is it. So this is it. Good day.